On today's Into Your Head podcast, hello, Oprah's advice for drug dealers, Stephen Hawking versus Morgan Freeman, believing in books, obsessing over who made things, a no-frills vomitorium, dogs as police officers, and lots more. Absolutely fucking fantastic, hello. Join me at a tremendously exciting moment. It's Into Your Head, number 757. We've a lot to get on with today. Items that need to be attended to, issues that need to be addressed, topics. Oh, topics. We've got lots and lots of topics. We're positively booming to the seams with topics. We've got topics coming out of this book that's on top of my printer here. This book, what's it now? Oh, it's Wacky Wednesday by Dr. Seuss. One of the few books I own these days. I don't believe in books anymore. I don't believe they exist. But I bought these are books that I acquired when I still believed that books existed. And I suppose the amount of faith I had in the existence of books before I lost it sustained their existence. That's how reality works. I don't know. I'm not sure how reality works anymore, because this week I've been watching Professor Stephen Hawking's Discovery series about the cosmos and the meaning of life and reality and all that sort of thing. And then I followed it up with what's his face? You know your man. Morgan, what's his face out of the movies? His thing about the cosmos too. His version is a lot more scary. He says things like, oh, there's an antimatter version of the universe and a matter version of the universe, and any second they could both collide. Bits of them could collide, the unstable parts, and destroy all of us in a millisecond. And he said it in a very dramatic fashion, because he's an actor. Actors get all dramatic about things like the end of the universe. They can't just talk about them in a calm, collected manner. They have to say, oh, this has to be dramatic. Anything that's involving acting has to be more, by definition, more exciting than life, because otherwise it's not dramatic. It's just normal life, except that with lies and made up stuff, and that's no good. They think, oh, if you're going to do fiction and drama, it has to be more exciting than bog standard life. Otherwise it's just a made up fake version of the news that serves no purpose whatsoever in any way, shape or form, whether it be in the shape of a movie about Morgan Freeman stuck in a prison with what's it called? The Shawshank Redemption. That's a movie. There's a movie called The Shawshank Redemption, and it's based on a book, although they make no mention of the book at all in the movie. The fella in the movie never says, oh, you might have heard this story before in the book that I was the narrator of, that this is based on. No, he made no mention of his book version of his character at all. He just pretended, oh, I'm writing this for a movie. I'm writing my story here for a movie. It's going to be produced by Steven Spielberg or who produced The Shawshank Redemption. I don't know. Couldn't care less. There's more to life than worrying about we obsess over who made movies. When you go down to Lidl and you get a packet of microwave popcorn, you don't say, oh, I wonder who did the branding on this, who designed the box, and who picked out the ingredients. Oh, I like that particular ingredients buyer. He's one of my favourite ones. I like to follow him. You do not? I know. It's a whole different kettle of fish when it comes to movies. You go, oh, who was involved in this? I don't like to watch this because I don't like that particular fella who makes movies, and I refuse to watch anything that he does in case it turns out I like some of his work, and then I'll be confused because I'll have to go around telling people that although I don't like this fella's work, I like this thing he just did, and that's going to cancel everything I say out and make no sense whatsoever. I'm just going to become a self-contradicting piece of shit. That's what people worry about when they watch movies. If you're going to be like that, you might as well not go to the movies at all, because you're never going to be able to relax. You're probably also going to be one of those people who thinks, oh, that child in front of me is playing with his portable telephone in the cinema. How dare he? How dare people do stuff in the cinema? Cinema is sacrosanct. It's like a church. If people turn on their phone and play with them, or they munch popcorn too loud, or they dare to speak, then they're evil scumbag. As a cinema is fucking sacrosanct. It's absolutely, is that the right word? Sacrosanct? I don't know. Sacrosanct is what you do. Sacrosanct is something that to which, if you damage it or disrespect it, you're being sacrilegious. It's like a religion. I made up that definition, but it appears to make sense. You don't have to pick out a dictionary and get an exact pre-written definition of everything. I have a bit of cop on and common sense, so I can come up with a vague definition of something that's probably going to be accurate. I have a fucking huge cold sore on my mouth, pissing me off. The middle of fucking June, and it's sore. It's sore to the pits of my mouth. It's fucking. I don't even know if it's a cold sore. I'm not a doctor. It feels like some kind of a sore anyway. It feels like a cold sore, burning my mouth to bits. It's like being stabbed in the face by a disease, some sort of a disease that you pick up just by walking through the atmosphere. That's the problem with the atmosphere. It joins everything up. It's like a gel that fills up the gap between everything and allows things to be transmitted. If I walk into the outside now, into the atmosphere, I'm basically touching something. My entire skin is touching something that's also touched a butterfly that's flapped its wings in the whatever you call the desert. They always say the butterfly is in at the under end of the world somewhere. A butterfly flaps its wings in outer Mongolia or something. And something happens over here because the wings move, and that pushes on the atmosphere, and the atmosphere extends over here. The butterfly pushes the atmosphere 1 inch to the left. All the atmosphere in the world gets moved 1 inch to the left. It rotates around the world a bit. But surely the Christ is doing that anyway. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. I got drunk when I got to that part of the Professor Stephen Hawking series, so I may not have paid full attention. Anyway, hello and welcome to the show. 2 dogs walk into a vomitorium. One of the dogs goes straight up to the vomitorium reception desk and says, "Hello, can I leave a pint of the bar next door's favourite finest Guinness here, please?" And the man behind the reception desk says, "Certainly, sir. Would you like the deluxe service or the bog standard hand you a paper bag takeout service? Or would you like to just buy the vomitorium? It's up for sale at the moment. It needs a new owner. Selling it as a going concern, that's another option. Don't usually give this option to customers, but as it happens, it's available today." And the dog says, I didn't know you had the takeout service. I'll just take the paper bag. Thank you very much. And the dog goes off with the paper bag and vomits into it outside. And it's slightly spilling over the edges. But he's able to let it fall on the ground. And then he hears a siren. And a cop approaches him and says, "For one thing, you're an unattended dog. And for another thing, you're holding uncovered alcohol in your hand there in public." And the dog says, "This is just regurgitated alcohol. There's probably no alcohol in it anymore. Do you puke up alcohol, or do you just puke up the beverage? I'm not sure." Because if you could just puke up all the alcohol, then you wouldn't still be drunk. And I'm pretty sure I'm still drunk, although obviously not enough for you to arrest me. And the cop says, "You a dog?" And the dog says, "Yes, I am, sir." And the man behind the long arm of the law says, "As it happens, I'm a dog too. Don't tell anyone, please, though, because you're not supposed to have dogs working as police officers," which is just as well, because I'm not working as a police officer. I'm the dog warden. So if you wouldn't mind getting in my my van. I'm going to bring you somewhere and lock you up and see if anyone finds you cute, and if they don't, I'm going to kill you. Is that okay? And the dog says, no, that's not okay. That's not okay at all. And he eats the dog warden's face off. And the dog warden says, Christ, I suppose I'd have done that if I were you. But still a bit much. Surely to Christ we can work out things like this peacefully. And the dog says, how are you still talking? And the dog warden says, I don't know. I suspect it'll stop any minute now. And indeed it does. And the great night is had by all.
Into your head.
I've always been a great believer in the dictum, when in doubt, say something about Professor Stephen Hawking. You can't go wrong. Professor Stephen Hawking is the cats of the my podcast world. Anywhere else, if you want to say something and you don't know what to say on the internet, you just bring up cats, as I often do. I find here, no, Professor Stephen Hawking does the trick. He's a lifesaver. You come on and you say Professor Stephen Hawking, and then you're away in a hack. You're off on a roll. You've got 8 or 9 minutes of material there. I say material. It's more like, it's not more like antimatter, because this isn't material. It doesn't have substance. Just, it's not even. It will eventually become ones and zeros when I process it. But even that isn't material. That's just, those are just states. The state of being 1 and the state of being 0. Just like the universe. The universe is just a series of states. Matter in particular states, in the state of being an electron or a neutron or all that sort of thing. I've been learning a lot about this week, as I say. Been watching stuff on Netflix or on the Sky Plus app in the Discovery documentaries section, and I'm realising that modern day Discovery Channel, some documentaries are more documentary than others. Some are just Morgan Freeman coming on and scaring the crap out of people. They come on and they say, we need to do something that looks vaguely educational for the first time in years, because you don't want to turn into the MTV of the documentary world where we just put out crap, which indeed we already do. But every now and then, Discovery Channel still puts out a documentary or a vague attempt at pretending to be a documentary. And when they do that, they get Morgan Freeman in, or they get, who's that other fella? They had one with, they had another one with Robbie Williams presenting a thing where they got a meth addict and a cocaine addict and got them to drive around a car with a stuntman around a crash course high on drugs to see what effect it had on them. It's a very serious investigative report, not for entertainment at all. No, nobody's going to get any entertainment out of that at all. People watch it purely for educational purposes and to advance their knowledge of the world around them. Complete crap. Absolute, pure, unmitigated crap. Load of bollocks, Discovery Channel. Get away out of that crap and stop the pretense. Stop the pretense. There's one thing I can't stand in this world is pretense. And Discovery are doing more pretense now because they're doing scripted drama. If that's not pretense, I don't know what is. A scripted drama is basically the definition of pretense. You get someone to read out a script and they pretend that they're really saying it in real life and that they're not, and that they're that person in the script. Oh no, load of bollocks and lies. Scripted dramas are lies and bollocks. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I enjoy plenty of scripted dramas. I watched an episode of Criminal Minds this morning. It was absolutely fantastic. I drank coffee and watched Criminal Minds and ate a sausage sandwich with my wife and shared a bit with the kittens. Kittens, you can't eat sausage sandwiches in front of kittens without them climbing all over you. So you give them a token piece. Don't worry, not any big piece of sausage, just a token little crumb to make them feel like they're part of the family. Because that's what you do. That's how you have to make them feel like. It's the same if I I presume it's the same if you have children. You have to make them feel like they're part of the family by sharing token bits of your life with them. You say, we're all going to sit down and watch television now, and you can be in the room if you like. You can't watch this because it's not suitable for children, but you can go and play in the corner there with your Lego airport, or your teddy bears, or whatever his children play with nowadays. I don't know. It's probably all virtual Lego and virtual teddy bears and virtual life. That's what it is, virtual life. Ones and zeros and theory. So that's what the kids are all about nowadays. It's all theoretical stuff. Nothing's real. It's like, it's just basically, not there's anything wrong with that. Science is all about theory. I learned that as well from Professor Stephen Hawking. Everything we know or think we know or claim to know about the nature of the cosmos, it's all just theories, and it changes every 20 years or so. But even the stuff that ends up being proved wrong turns out to be useful in building upon our knowledge. That's what I got from it anyway. So those kids with their theoretical, fictional versions of the Grand Theft Auto world that are all just made up, they're learning all about real life and the real drug world and how to survive. How to survive in the real world. It's based on Grand Theft Auto 5. So if your kid plays enough Grand Theft Auto 5 and then they grow up to be a drug dealer, they're going to be a bloody good drug dealer who survives and manages not to get shot for at least the first 10 or 12 years, may even evade justice for a decade or two before they succumb to life in prison. So they'll live their best. It's like Oprah says, live your best life. If you're going to be a drug dealer, live the best version of it possible. Don't get caught after 6 months and then spend the best years of your life incarcerated. No, stretch it out. Do as best as you can. Live your best life. That's the best. Oprah knows. Oprah has a lot. Oprah is good, I suppose, what I'm saying in terms of assisting drug dealers.
Are you going into your head?
Support the podcastual arts at no cost to you. Just click through the Amazon link at intoyourhead.com whenever you go shopping for anything, even if you use Amazon UK or Canada. We'll take your weird foreign money here. We're not proud. Just visit intoyourhead.com and click on the appropriate Amazon banner.
Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener. Email Neal at studio@intoyourhead.com.
I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, holy mother of Christ, 7 minutes and 13 seconds in already. Time is flying. Time is getting faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. It's going quicker and quicker and quicker. Well, it's moving. I suppose time is past. The fact that time is going faster doesn't necessarily mean it's moving quickly. Does it? No, is that the same thing? If time is going fast, time appears to be going fast or is going fast, that doesn't mean it's moving. The space-time continuum is not necessarily moving, although maybe it is. I don't know. I need to watch more of these Cosmos programs. I need to get different views, not just narrow-minded views of Professor Stephen Hawking, followed by the little one piffling little documentary that Morgan Freeman managed to find 2 days of his 70-something year life to put together. He's had 70-something years on this planet, built up a persona of being a wise old man, and the most he finds able to see himself giving to the world of documentary making is one episode. Although did he do a whole series of something else somewhere? I don't know. This particular one I watched, the Morgan Freeman, though, it was a once-off, and then on the next episode they got in Robin Williams to do the drugs thing. I don't know what there is after that. Seems to be all actors though. Science is all about acting nowadays. You have to get someone in and get them to pretend to be interested. That's what you do now. You pretend to be interested, just like you're doing now. You're pretending to be interested in this. You're liking the post of this podcast on Facebook. Some of you are even sharing it, although not very many, you cunts. If you see this this podcast episode being posted on Facebook, share the fucking thing with your friends and tell them I'm not ashamed of the fact that I listen to this crap. I have a bit of downtime sometimes, then I spend it listening to crap. It doesn't have to be all about fucking watching what's his face on the monosodium glutamate channel. These political talk shows that you Americans watch on MSNBC, the monosodium glutamate channel, and then there's CNN, and then there's CNN headline news, except that's not news anymore. It's all Dr. Drew. I've never seen the Dr. Drew program on CNN headline news, also known as HLN now, but I presume he sits there and goes, hello, this is the Dr. Drew program, and I'm going to do pretty much the same thing I do on my podcast, except you can see me, so you have to sit up and pay attention now. I can't be sitting here picking my nose while I'm giving out medical advice. I have to look at the camera and say, hello, I'm aware of your presence here, even though as I look into this camera I can't see you. That's the thing about these television talking heads programs. You have to look into the camera and pretend they can see you and pretend they're looking at you and engaging with you. They know damn well they can't see you at all. The problem is that they know you can see them, even though they can't see you looking at them. They've been told these people can see you, so you have to act as if they're looking at you and you're looking at them across a non-crowded room, and we're not just to a fucking camera, a magical camera. Well, there's nothing magical about a camera. There's nothing magical about these things. People would like you to believe that these technologies are magical, but they're not. I remember when Steve Jobs first announced the iPad, he said there was a magical device. There's nothing magic about it at all. Can all be explained by anyone who has a bit of knowledge about computer and programming. There's nothing unexplained in it at all. Except maybe in some bits of the programming that are kept secret and we're not allowed to see them, but that doesn't mean they're magical. It just means they're protected by patent laws and all sorts of things. Not that there's anything good about that. I'm not saying that. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying it's not magic. It's not fucking Harry Potter's iPad Princess of Power. What do you call it? Harry Potter and the Philosopher's tablet device. No. Nobody's impressed by iPads anymore anyway. Everyone's got a tablet. 5 years ago, they came up with the iPad and someone said, oh, look at that. That hasn't even been invented yet. That looks fantastic. And you see Captain Picard holding one and looking at it. And he's saying, where do I talk into this? Or do I just sign it or something and hand it back to Geordie and say, here you go, I've signed your requisition, now go and do whatever it is you do with this and let me go back to doing more important stuff, and don't want to do paperwork or electronic work or whatever it's called in the 24th century. I want to be doing more important things like talking to some alien prime minister over the video telephone thing on the front window of the space. The Enterprise doesn't have a front window, or has a screen instead. They've spurned the idea of looking through a window at the world around you in the future. Instead, everything has to be beamed to a screen. It could be the stuff you're looking at could be right behind the wall that screen is on, but they still will insist on not having a window. They insist on having it beamed electronically to a screen. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. It's looking at the world through rose-tinted spectacles. Maybe they should have spectacle-based TV screens. You have two screens beside each other, and you have your left eye image and your right eye image. That would be a more realistic way of looking at it. Or would it? I don't know. Maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe. Maybe. Supposing three men were frozen, as we used to say when we were kids. Anyway.
You're listening to
the Into Your Head podcast
from Ireland with your humble proprietor, Neal.
Follow Neal at twitter.com/intoyourheadpod and pretend to like him at facebook.com/intoyourheadpodcast.
Two fictional creators of the universe walk into a bar. One of the fictional creators of the universe goes straight up to the bar counter and says, "Hello, can I have a pint of whatever you think is my finest creation, please? Leave it up to you." And the man behind the bar says, "You want a pint of cat? Is that right, you fucking weirdo?" And the Supreme Being says, "Excuse me, that's not okay to criticise me. That's what you call it. That's that thing. What's that thing they call it? Blasphemy. You're being blasphemous. You're blasphemising me, or blaspheming, whatever you mere mortals call it, with your big fancy language. Your language, fucking language. I don't believe in language. It may appear that I'm talking language to you now, but that's only because of the universal translator, which is a fictional thing. It's just a device used by narrators when telling stories like this, so they can pretend that you're able to understand me, which you're not." And the barman says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm afraid I didn't understand any of that." And the Supreme Being says, "My point exactly. A pint of cat." And the man behind the bar says, "Okay, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and going to assume that when you ask me for a pint of cat, you're assuming that I'm not actually going to give you a pint of cat, that I'm going to use poetic license or something and give you a cocktail or something that somehow represents the concept of cat ownership to you." And the Supreme Being says, No, I want a pint of cat. It's a brand. It's a well-known brand where I come from. We've a brand called Cat. It's a brand of stout." And the barman says, "Oh, I know what you mean, but different brands are called different things in different parts of the world. Diet Coke, for example, that's called Coke Light in a lot of countries. What else? Kellogg's Frosties is called something completely different in America, and it's the same with Guinness. It's called Cat in wherever you come from. So Supreme Being land, I suppose." And the Supreme Being says, "Nice try, but no, that's not what I want, and I'm going to kill you now. I'm going to kill you. With kindness. I'm going to kill you with kindness." This should be fun. Have to find a way to kill you with kindness now, but in a way that ironically causes you great pain. But I'm doing it to be kind. So it's good an excuse as any, even better than any excuse. It's a bloody good one if you ask me. And the man behind the bar says, "Okay, go ahead and kill me with kindness." And the barman shoots him in the head with rubber bullets that have, I don't know, they have the antidote to every disease in the world on them. And the bullet kills the man, but then the Supreme Being cryogenically freezes him until there's a cure. Although that doesn't make sense because he's just giving them the antidote to everything. Well, until there's a cure for whatever future diseases that the antidote hasn't been created for yet, and to which the barman may be genetically susceptible, so he's preventing him from getting them until such time as they can be cured. And the Supreme Being says, "I'm a good person. Haven't I great? Worship me. And then the other Supreme Being, who stayed quiet through all of this, says, "Excuse me, Satan, that's enough of your crap. I'm going to kick you out of here now. Get the fuck out of my heaven. My heaven is not for people like you." And Satan says, "For fuck's sake. Well, it was fun while it lasted, I suppose." And God says, "Go to hell." And Satan says, "Where's that?" And God says, "I've just created it. It's over there. Go and have a look there. It's a great place for the likes of you. It'll keep you quiet for a while, for eternity, anyway. However long that lasts. And the great eternity is had by all. Good morning."
You've been listening to Neal tell you stories. About cats, probably. Neal talks a lot about cats. Send your topic suggestions to studio@intoyourhead.com.